Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Mucho. Yes, you're in the right place. Yes, this will be an episode in English, but it has subtitles. You should already see them on the screen. I'm putting them on the actual video, so you don't have to worry about turning them on. On any of the platforms that you're watching, you should see them just fine. So, for those who don't feel too comfortable with English, I hope you still stick around. And for those who speak English, take this as a free Spanish lesson because you can't turn the subtitles off. They're gonna stay throughout the whole video. So, thank you for being here. I did not expect this to happen so soon, to like create or to have an episode in English so soon. I did fantasize with the idea of at some point having like a guest here and there, or maybe making like a Q&A video in English or something like that, but I did not expect my second episode to be in English. But I am just going with the flow with this project and just doing what feels right at the moment. And it only feels right to share this in English. For those of you who don't know, I've been living in the US for 8 years now, almost a decade. It's insane to say that out loud. And throughout the years, I've met wonderful, amazing human beings that I love so much that speak English. And unfortunately, well, I guess not unfortunately, but it's kind of a blessing and a curse. I am an oversharer, so I do share a lot of things about my life with the people that I love. And this is, and hopefully will continue to be, this project part of my life. And, I'm doing, as I said, what feels right. And it only feels right to share that with some of the people that I love that have supported me, even though they don't probably fully get what this is about, or they don't speak Spanish, or they do, but don't fully understand what's going on. And despite all of that and the language barrier and that we sometimes get lost in translation, they have been there for me, and I want to make them part of this. So I want all of us Spanish and English speakers to maybe be on the same page this early on. I do not plan to have like an episode in Spanish and in English like every week, but I do hope this, you know, maybe opens my horizon to what is not my target audience, which would be in Spanish. And hopefully this will help the people that are in my life like understand what's going on, and maybe this will motivate them to want to be a guest here and to be part of this project with me, because ultimately that's what I want. I don't plan this to be the exact like translation of the first episode. However, I am gonna mention some things that I already mentioned in the first episode. So don't feel like you're like wasting your time if you already watched the first episode, because even though I will be mentioning some things that I already talked about, it is going to have new information, because I am not even like feeling the same way in a good way. But I'm not feeling the exact same way I was feeling on the first episode. And I also want to maybe add some things here and there about my experience with the English language. And I don't know, it's just going to be a bit of everything, but it is going to have some of the things that I already talked about, because as I said, I want all of us to be like on the same page. So here we are. In the first episode, I divided the episode in like 3 sections. So I talked about my headspace right now, like where I'm at emotionally. I also talked about where this project came from, and like, all the history behind it and all the context and all the stuff that happened throughout the years that took me to this point right now to actually putting it out there. And I also talked about in the third section of that first episode, I talked about where we're going and what this is about, and what the project is going to be about. So I am definitely going to touch like on a few points of each section, but I am gonna mix them a bit. I think I'm going to combine what this project and like how this project started with what this project is and will become. The first thing I talked about on that first episode was my headspace at this time and how I'm feeling emotionally. And I was just thinking how like weird for me it is to express my emotions in English. So it was already hard in Spanish to put into words how I was feeling and how I've been feeling, because I've been MIA for a few months, like on social media and like my social media presence and how, you know, active I was. I've been MIA for a few months and I wanted to give some context on that. And it was hard for me to put into words in Spanish everything that I was feeling. And it's even harder in English. When I moved here, I remember feeling like I was two different Oris when speaking. Like I was one Ori in Spanish and I was one Ori in English. The English one felt more like a character. I didn't feel like authentic or my true self. It felt, and I don't want to say forced, but it did feel weird. Um, but with, being here for so long and little by little, like gaining confidence with the language and all that, I am finally at the point where I do feel like I am the same person. Like I am the same Ori in Spanish and in English, in the same sense that you are different when you're with your friends and you're with your parents, and then you're different at work, and then you're a bit different, like depending on your audience, you just change a bit of your, I don't want to say personality per se, but you do change a bit of your maybe mannerisms and like things you can and cannot say. In the same sense, I feel like that's how it is now with me in Spanish and English, but I don't necessarily feel like I'm putting up a character and I am absolutely different. It does feel good to finally feel like I don't have that barrier, and it has taken me years, definitely, but I'm I'm feeling good about that. However, that one thing that I haven't been able to consolidate, and I don't think I ever will, and not in a bad way, I made peace with that, is that it's so hard for me to translate my deepest emotions, because I have this theory, and this is my personal opinion. I think we all contain in our souls like our deepest emotions, and I don't know, our true like sentiment and like passion is all contained in our soul. And to me, my soul is in Spanish. And it's hard for me to translate that in English. So that's why I don't think I get truly like mad in English, or like truly passionate or in love or too sentimental in English, because all of those like feelings are contained in my soul, and that is in Spanish. So that's how I've made peace with that. I find it okay, like it's okay that I don't feel too comfortable translating that. However, as I said, I am the same Ori. So I do want to share some of, my emotions and stuff, but it's just, I don't want to say weird, but it is just not as easy for me to do as it might be in Spanish. But in any case, all that context just to say that in that first episode, I talked about a bit how I've been feeling this year, because it's no secret that I've had one of the toughest years I've had so far. And after a lot of therapy and time, I've understood that it's just been a year of loss. I think it's been a year where not only I've had personal losses and I've lost um, people that are close to my heart, but also I think we've lost as a society, like as a country, in this country, in my other country. Like it just has felt like I just keep losing, we just keep losing. And I've been so in that world for the past year that I felt like I lost parts of myself. And I think losing parts of yourself when you go through like a grieving process or where you go through a loss, I think it's normal. We leave a piece of us not only wherever we go, but to whoever we like interact with and like to whoever we have a relationship with, we give them a piece of us. So if that is over, then you lose that. And that is okay. But I found like I was losing so much that I was not only losing like pieces of myself, but I was just losing big parts of who I am and what I am. And after being in that mindset for so long, I finally made peace with the fact that you can win and lose at the same time. Two things, those two things can be true. Like two things can be true at the same time. That losing sucks, and that we give part of ourselves to that, but also you can win while losing something. You can gain from that loss. And that's where I'm at, understanding that I don't have to look at it with the, gray, sad lenses and that everything is just like keeps happening to me. I don't think I have to do that anymore. I'm at the phase where I want to focus on winning too, and focus on regaining and rebuilding. As I said, I don't feel the exact same way in a good way as I was feeling on that first episode. I think sharing, at least for me, is so important. Voicing the issue has helped me so much. I already feel so much better just by letting everything out and expressing how I'm feeling. So, by doing that on the first episode, I already, a week after, feel so much better. I also feel like by voicing the problem, you're attracting the help. We have so much more in common that we think. We're just, all human beings going through life for the first time. This project, this is like a act of, I don't want to say self-love, but maybe that is the word. It's an act of self-love and self-care and attempting to do some rebuilding and putting myself out there, because I do love sharing. I do love entertaining. I do love being in front of a camera. So if that's part of myself and if that helps me, then I want to continue with this. I'm trying to rebuild those parts that I've lost with everything that I've been going through this year. And that is also the reason why I've been MIA, because I haven't found the way, or I hadn't found the way to consolidate all the loss and how I want to feel and what I want to do, but at the same time, giving myself space to grieve. And it's just been a roller coaster of emotions, but I think I'm on the right track. And launching this and this project, hopefully, and I can already feel it, is helping me feel better. And so here we are. That's where I'm at right now. Again, I'm feeling better than last week, and hopefully next week I will feel better, and then little by little I will just get my spark back and it will be all good. the second and third section that I did on the first episode, I was talking about where this came from, like this project came from and where we're going, and I did it in two separate parts, but I'm just gonna kind of combine them a bit, because they have so much to do with each other, and you'll get it when I start talking about it. But we can just combine it all and save us some time. And I can, I guess, start by saying that, of course, this is a podcast, as you already know. That is a universal word. So you already know that this is a podcast. You already know that I will be hosting it. But what you maybe don't know is that this podcast will be honoring a lot of stages in my life and a lot of projects that I've been wanting to launch, and they will honor and they will involve a lot of people that have helped me get where I am. Like a lot of the things that have happened throughout the years got me to this moment, and I want to honor that. I want to honor the past while being in the present. So that is kind of where this project is going. And that is the reason why I'm going to have 5 sections or 5 types of episodes in this podcast. So that is what the characters that you see on the logo represent. The first section is going to be this, just me standing, well, I guess sitting down in front of the camera, just talking to you. And this is just to honor that little Ori that has always been wanting to be an entertainer, and that has been always wanting to be out there and, talking, recording. Since I was a little girl, I wanted to be the host of a radio show. And I guess this is the closest thing to that. First, wanting to be the radio host, and then I wanted to be a podcaster, and then I wanted to have a YouTube channel. And I've been wanting to do so many things that I have had yet to accomplish. And this is just to honor her. So this is just me sitting with you, just talking. So that is the first type of episode you will see here. Second type of episode you will see is El Show de las Hermanas Sorin. That's how it's called. And it's going to be a set of episodes with my sister. And that is just honoring, well, first of all, my sister. And she's awesome. And she's been such an important part of this project and this thing coming out. And it's just to honor that show that we created so many years ago when we recorded on my mom's Nokia, very old phone. We started recording our own like radio show, like web show, whatever. And we were just 2 little girls that wanted to get a microphone and just be entertainers and just host and record and be creative and fun. And it's just to honor that. The third type of episode that you'll find is with my dad. Those are going to be episodes that I'm going to record with him, and that is to honor that project that at some point I wanted to launch. I wanted to have a YouTube channel with my dad, and I wanted us to do challenges and trends and so much stuff that I just never did. And I want to get him involved because also my dad is a very interesting person and he has so much to say. So why not have him and we can talk about anything? Honestly, I love having conversations with my dad. So it's going to be a very special section to, again, honor that point in time where we were both like together, forced or not, creating content. This fourth type of episode that you'll find here is going to involve my friends and whoever wants to join in as a guest. And it's going to be a would you rather section, or like would you rather type of episode. And this is to honor our, I don't even know how many calls that we had, me and my friends, during COVID time. We would just gather and get together via Zoom and just talk to each other for hours. And at some point we had we have exhausted all the topics, so we started playing games. And one of the most successful games was Would You Rather. So we just had the deepest and most fun conversations ever by a simple Would You Rather question. It just took us so far and it was so fun. And that is to honor that. I remember during those calls, I said, and this was peak COVID time, I said, as soon as I get back home, I was in Venezuela. As soon as I get back home, I will just get everything I need, like all the equipment, and I'm gonna create a podcast called Would You Rather. And I just have to make this happen. And I just didn't do it. But this is to honor that, honor those times. And then the fifth and final section, it's going to be a Q&A type of episode. And that is just to honor my influencer era. From like 2021 to 2023, I loved creating content for social media, and I remember doing a lot of like Q&As, and people would just ask me questions about whatever, and I just had so much fun like sharing and responding and just like being an influencer wannabe. So yeah, those are the 5 type of episodes that you're gonna find here. And again, I know I kind of like went a bit fast about what we're going to have and where it came from, but I just don't want to repeat every single thing I said on the first episode and make this too long. But I also, again, want everyone to be on the same page. So I hope you stick around weekly. I'm going to launch episodes every Wednesday. I don't have like a plan on how the order is going to go or what episode's going to come out what week. So you're just going to have to stick around and see what the future holds. And I know this is not perfect, is far from it, but it's out there. And I am just happy, excited, and proud that I'm finally doing this. And there's always space for improvement. I'm not looking for perfection, but completion. I don't even know if that's a thing. But here I am, just getting the thing done. And I want to end this episode with something new that, of course, was not mentioned in the first episode. And that is my experience with English. And maybe you will find this helpful if you're trying to improve your English. And yeah, so a lot of people ask me how I learned English. And if I have any tips or something that I recommend. And let me start by saying that I learned English because I've been studying English since I was very little. But in school, same as you take biology and math and chemistry and physics and all that, my school had us taking English classes. The great thing, and I think this is a blessing, and I didn't see it like that at the time. Like, I just thought it was cool, but now it's like it's such a blessing that that was my personal experience. I loved English. Like, English was my favorite subject. You know how math can be your favorite subject or chemistry or whatever. Mine was English. I loved English since I was little. I had no idea I was going to end up like living here, and English was going to be so useful, and thank God. But at the time, I just really liked it. I just thought it was really interesting learning it. And I always joke around and say that I had so many English teachers. I had the Jonas Brothers, High School Musical, Lady Gaga, like I had all of them teaching me English because I used to be obsessed. I used to not only play their music all the time, but like grab the CDs with the lyrics, like the book, the little book that has the lyrics, and like learn them as if it was the Bible. Like I was reading every single one and perfecting it as much as I could. And it was just so fun. I think that was a big part of how I learned English. Like, not only because of school, like that's how I formally learned it. Like all the grammar, all the stuff, I learned it in school. I was never in like a separate class or course or anything. I was just in school learning English, really loved it. So I was also putting the work informally outside of school. I was listening to music in English, learning the lyrics in English. I remember writing the lyrics. Like I was listening to a song and I remember writing the lyrics without like reading them anywhere just to see if I could remember how to write them and how to spell things. So I was just really having a blast. Like I was having fun while learning English. And I also did a lot of talking to myself. So this is not necessarily new to me, like talking to no one because no one's here with me and just talking to myself in English because I remember in school I was like, well, I am learning all the grammar and I do have like some presentations here and there, but I'm not really practicing, not like that. And I didn't have anyone to practice with, so I was just talking to myself in my room, just talking to myself in English. So I guess I was my own teacher too. So I was doing that. I was doing music, movies, reading. Like I was just doing it all in a like informal way. And all of that, like the learning in school and also outside of school, helped me so much and got me to the point where I felt comfortable enough to be here and not feel super scared. I think it was just a huge coincidence that I loved English and I ended up moving here. So when I moved here, I already had my English foundation and I just improved a lot by being here because of course, and that is again a blessing and not everyone has the same experience, but like a perfect way to really truly learn a language is being immersed in it. So I was just forced to speak English all the time, and that did help me a lot. I remember when I moved here and I started like speaking like to people. One, it felt, as I said in the beginning, like a character, and two, I was so proper because I came with a lot of like grammar and a lot of the things that I learned in school. And a lot of people were like, why do you speak so like properly? Like not casual at all. Like what's happening here? So that like them sharing that and me noticing it and also me listening to more like a casual English helped me a lot. And learning all the slang also helped me a lot. And I have to thank, of course, conversations for that and spending time with people that are from here and that speak English in a very casual way. But I also have to thank social media for that. And I think we all have access to that. And we underestimate how much social media can help in that way because social media is just easy and like quick way to learn the slang, like in the I don't know, the expressions of the day or like of the week, and that will help you sound more native, if you know what I mean. So it was just a combination of everything that helped me with my English, school, and that I loved the language and that I tried to learn it like on my own and that I put a lot of effort, and then that I moved here and I was immersed in it. All of that is what I would consider how I learned English. And now, with all of that, knowing all of that, I think I've learned a few things that I find really helpful. The first and like main thing, and this helped me a lot with that, like breaking that character that I was creating when speaking English, is that before speaking each language, I had to turn like a switch on and off. I was like, okay, it's Spanish time. Let me turn on the Spanish switch and turn off the English switch, and vice versa. And I think that is a mistake because you have to definitely let yourself go and not think too much about it. Let your brain and your heart like go with the flow. And by that I mean, and I'm gonna put it into like an example so it's not so abstract. But I used to be so like mortified if I was speaking English and then a word in Spanish slipped out. Like I felt like, oh my God, my English switch is turned on, but also my Spanish switch is turned on. So I need to turn that off so I can continue. So that would like mortify me. And now, since I don't think about it in switch on and off and I don't care, if I'm speaking in English and then Spanish word comes out, then I just let it come out and then I keep it going. I'm not like, okay, I don't know how to say this. Let me turn my switch off, go back to Spanish, think about it, translate it, turn the other switch on. So I'm not overthinking it so much anymore. And I'm just, going with the flow. And that also goes hand in hand with my next um, tip, I guess, and that is allow yourself to make mistakes. Making mistakes is fine. I make mistakes all the time speaking English, and that's normal. I mispronounce things. I sometimes don't know how to say things, but that is so completely fine because not even native English speakers speak perfect English. Same as that my Spanish is not perfect, my English is not perfect either. And that doesn't mortify me anymore. Like if I make a mistake, if I say something that's not right, I don't let that stop me from keep it going. So you have to let yourself like make mistakes and say things the wrong way and then just, go with whatever feels right. And my third tip that I think they all go hand in hand with this switch thing that I mentioned at the beginning. Like, forget about the switch and just go with whatever you're feeling at the moment. And then if a Spanish word like slips out, or if you make a mistake, or if you don't have the right tense, or if you don't have the right word, or if you mispronounce it, just it's okay. Let it go. And it's fine. The third one, and one that honestly, oh my God, the light again. Is this a sign, like the first time, that I have to stop talking? Maybe so. Well, to finish this, and this is my last tip, so I guess great timing, almost perfect timing. Don't worry about your accent. Your accent is not as important as you think it is. Having an accent is totally fine. Accents exist like all around the world. Accents are part of any language. There's a New York accent, a Boston accent, a Texas accent. That's fine. There can be an Ori accent. It's totally fine. It's not a big deal. If anything, your accent is what makes you you. And if anything, it sparks conversation. People hear you talking, they wonder where you're from, and it can get you places in the best way possible. So don't let your accent get in the way of speaking the language that you want to speak. So here I am with my accent and making mistakes and not getting it right, and then maybe having some Spanish words here and there because I don't remember how to say it in English. And I'm here and I'm fine. And I'm just, putting myself out there. And it also has to do a lot with confidence and the confidence that you feel and that you exude, and that you're doing it fine. You're doing it fine, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to keep getting better. And I think that's where I'm going to end it. And hopefully, we're now all on the same page. And now you know what I'm doing, where this is going. And hopefully, this was either a Spanish lesson or an English lesson that was helpful for you. Thank you for being here. And I can't wait for next Wednesday where we can meet again. It will be in Spanish, I can tell you that. So hopefully you'll join. Gracias por estar aquí. Si escuchaste hasta acá, y te viste todo el capítulo en inglés, pues te quiero full. Ya me quedé sin luz y nada, aquí estamos. Gracias. Besito. Bye.